Good afternoon. This is Mike for the 2 by 2 and 2 report on January 1st, 2020. Happy New Year. So, in our three-question rotation, we are talking about how might we better support each other. And today I wanted to just tell a little story about how my son taught me about bravery and courage and love. I think we both kind of supported each other in learning about bravery and love and support. So yesterday, I was meditating on some criticism that a friend had given me, a very insightful friend, who criticized my way of presenting and my thoughts, and certainly not in a way that was offensive, but in a way that was just brutally honest. So it felt like, wow, I was, something clicked, something opened up, the floodgates opened, and I was just really feeling something very, very powerful. So I went to a personal training session with a friend, and I brought my son, Micah, who is 2 years old. And my friend has a dog, who is very excited, very playful, very loving. And she was getting up into Micah's face quite a bit. She just really wanted to play, and she was really, really getting aggressive with it. And Micah started becoming afraid, and he was scared, and he was crying. And I just kind of hugged him, and I said, "Look, Micah, if anybody gets in your face like that, and it's something that feels overwhelming, just put your hands up lovingly, and just put that barrier up, and redirect it gently to the side or to the ground or back. Not in a way that's thrusting or pressing or attacking, but just lovingly." And my son started doing this, and after a few minutes of doing that, it was interesting to see how the roles switched. Micah really wanted to play with the dog now, and the dog acted afraid of Micah. The dog actually kind of snipped at Micah a little bit, and I was very proud that my son didn't retreat and got scared at being snipped at, but he just kind of put his hand out and said, like, "Oh, it's okay, doggy, I love you." So that was part one of the story. 20 minutes later, we went to a bookstore that has plush toys and dolls, and Micah was playing with some pretty realistic looking dinosaurs and dragons, things that look pretty scary to me personally. And he looked up and he saw this sloth here. Actually, I'm sorry, no, he saw this sloth here that he wanted to look at, and which was very concerning to me because this other sloth here has been Micah's arch enemy and his most fearful archetype. So it really surprised me that he wanted to touch this sloth. So not only did he take the sloth in, he started hugging him, caressing him, loving him, and I'm like, Micah, you realize you're kind of embracing your deepest fear, because he's terrified of Mr. Sloth over here. Yeah, but Miss Sloth here, kind of became his best friend. And I asked him, "Do you want to take her home with us?" And he's like, "Yeah." So we took her home, and they've been inseparable. I mean, the only reason why I have this sloth here now is because Micah's sleeping upstairs. So, what it taught me, and what my 2-year-old son taught me, is that, yeah, we're afraid most of those who love us. And, breaking down those barriers of communication, I think, is what we're being called to do now. I've said this a couple times online, and I'll reiterate it here one more time. Creating economic equality, ending war on a massive scale, is truly the easy work. I really believe that. I think the hard work comes from doing the introspection that's required to have the loving relationships that make those big outcomes possible, creating economic equality and ending war. So, thank you for listening. That was my little story for today, and hope to be back tomorrow for the 2 by 2 and 2 report.